Hello and welcome to the cryptocurrency news channel. This is going to be a little bit different of a chart analysis for Bitcoin. And a lot of people might be thinking that Bitcoin is down. Yes, I do think we've been in kind of a bear market ever since basically December, January. I don't think there's any way to deny it. We lost 50% of the value and we're still struggling to slightly come back up. But I do think we're in an ascending pattern, or I do think we're in an upward trend since January. Now you might look at the last few days and say well, how are we actually in an upward trend? If you look at the monthly, how are we in an upward trend? We're obviously going down, right? But you're only taking a look at the monthly. If you look at the longer 3-month graph, if you actually look at the longer 3-month graph, which I have here, it's an obvious upward trend. It's a very slow upward trend, so it's not like pump and middles up, like super pump uptrend, but it is an actual upward trend. If you look at the higher highs and higher lows, we're obviously in an upward trend because the low in January at the end of January was the lowest we've had, and that was 33,000. And then the war low was 34,000. Then a little while later, we actually ran into 37,000, and now the low right now is like 39,000. So each time the lower low, well, the higher low actually increased by about 1 or 2,000 points. And as for the highs, right before we went to this lower low, we actually had a high of 43,000, and then here we had 45,000 before the war, and now the latest one, we actually had 48,000 before the Fed made announcements and dumped us back to around 40,000. And now, there was a pretty big lull before the tops. Between each top, there was a pretty big lull, like here and here. So the thing is, if we can reach about 50,000 by around mid-May, or 49,000 even, I do think we can confirm a very, very slow upward trend, and that'll be pretty good. Now, May has a lot of caveats because May is when they're actually going to raise the interest rates by at least 50 basis points, but they're talking about 75. I bet if they only raise it by 50, people will have expected that, and we will actually go up. If they raise it by 75, it's anyone's call. Obviously, the war in Russia affects things as well, as Mariupol is probably going to fall soon, and we'll have to see how the war goes in the Donbass and Luhansk region, because that definitely affects oil prices. Obviously, if Putin decides to use tactical nukes, that is a entire different ballgame, and he is getting kind of frustrated. But we are actually get kind of like a scoping line up at this point. And I do think we are actually in an upward trend. We're definitely in an upward trend right now, both higher lows and higher highs. The next low, I would actually assume, would be about $42,000, and the next high would be about $50,000. Now, the next high should be around mid-May, with the next low coming sometime probably beginning of June or mid-June. So look for that swap. I don't see a giant surge of Bitcoin unless the ETF actually comes through, and I highly doubt the ETF actually comes through this year. But I also don't see a major drop below where we are now unless there's a catastrophic event, which there's 1 or 2 events that could possibly actually happen. So right now, we dropped a little yesterday because the Netflix shares actually pulled the NASDAQ down. But now Tesla has overexceeded the earnings, so we might actually get a pullback tomorrow. So this is actually very, very interesting. It is going to be pretty correlated with tech stocks on the stock market. But right now, I think we have to give people a little bit of hope that we are actually on an ascending or upward trend since January. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.